to another episode of the Limitless Property Podcast. Today, I'm joined by my good mate, Jase Titus. Jase, how are you?
Billy, thanks for having me, man.
Mate, no worries.
You were only on mine recently.
Yeah,
It's nice to repay the favour and be back here, but the studio's looking good and looking forward to the chat.
It's good, mate. I'm keen to get into it. And I know you pretty well now, but I don't know a lot of the background. So I'm going to start off pretty much at the start, not at the start when you were born or anything like that. But when you left school, mate, how old were you when you left school and what did you do?
Bro, I could take you to birth.
Yeah.
I was born in Prince of Wales Hospital. Where is that? Like Darlinghurst or something?
What year?
89.
What are you?
89.
You're
So,
7 years older than me.
7 years, bro. But you've got a mature vibe about you, you know?
He's trying to say he looks younger than me.
Well, what did I do when I grew up in Cronulla? Like my parents still live in Sylvania. I went to DLS, so Caringbah and Cronulla, all boys school for the majority of that. And a lot of life was just like, what was it? I mean, just going to the gym, getting fit, playing footy. And I was just in this like culture of boys being boys competing all the time. Like going to an all boys school, you're competing for footy positions, for, representative footy. Like it's just competition. I got an older brother too. So I was a lot of the time hanging out with them and playing footy with them. So I just always developed this little chip on my shoulder.
Yeah,
I was like,
had to try and beat him. Yeah.
Had to beat them, and they would pin me down, and they would always they'd wrestle with me and stuff like that. And it was like I was always the youngest, the smallest, trying to have a crack at the big boys. So, but I lived in the Sutherland Shire. My best mate, Nick, most of our school holidays, we'd be out on the water on either the Port Hacking or around Sylvania Waters, just riding tinnies, and we can go on jet skis and stuff like that. So it was like a mad childhood growing up in the Sutherland Shire, and then I got straight to work. Yeah. Went to uni.
What did you do at uni?
I first started journalism.
So you completed year 12?
Completed year 12.
Yep.
Right? And then jumped into a journalism degree because at the time I was sick for footy, and I was thinking, I'm not good enough to play, but I'd like to be around it. Maybe I can just be like a journalist and just like report on it.
Yeah.
I remember I did a internship at Channel 9 with Danny Widelight during Origin. And,
that would have been unreal.
Bro, the hours
was it?
Mental.
Ridiculous.
Because you're just like waking up early doing a press conference with the team at the Novotel at Parramatta because that's where they are. It's like, that's early in the morning. Then you go to the game later that night and you're not finishing till 10, 11 o'clock later. And it's like, you just work like you're freaking the whole day. And you don't get paid that well.
Journalism's tough.
Tough gig. So when I realized that, I was like, okay, so you're getting paid pretty crap and you're on call 24/7 all the time. I don't want to do that. So I kind of just like pivoted my degree to media and communications. What is that? Fugazi. Like, what? I don't even know what that is. Media and communications. I ended up getting a job with the Sharks in their media department. And I was doing 2 days a week there and blah, blah, blah. That was pretty fun because you're around the team. Blah, blah. I still love footy. And then...
And did you ever make any money in that second media and communications gig, or was that...
Well, that was it. Then I instantly moved into sales after that because a mate of mine who I told you, Nick, his parents, or his mum, his grandfather actually owns Tyner Motors in the Sutherland Shire. And so I kind of he was working in sales at Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Marine. He's like, oh, bro, you want to just come work with us? And I was like, oh, yeah, sweet. And then I worked one Saturday test driving a few people because I was busy that weekend. It was like some sale weekend. I'd test drive some people, introduce them to the salespeople, bang, take some more test drives out. And then it would have been like 2 weeks later, one of the sales guys quit.
And how old were you at this stage?
I would have been 19.
Like
just youngster. And I was like, okay, what's the structure here? You get paid this amount. You're basically getting these leads from carsales.com and you just call them, book them in for test drives, sell them the car.
Sell them up the river. Done.
That sounds
Commission.
pretty easy.
Done.
Yes. And then okay. So I was like, but I work for the Sharks in the media room 2 days a week. Can I work here and then just have 2 days off, and my 2 days off will be... And they're like, yeah, no worries. And then I did that for maybe like 2 or 3 months. And I realized, all right, this commission started to roll in. And I was like, it makes more sense to those 2 days to be in the showroom, sell more cars and make more money. So I got into sales.
Cool. And how long were you in car sales? And what type of cars were you selling?
Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
Yeah. Okay.
At the time, it was around when Obama was, and they had this like great campaigns to kind of like put him on the map. It was like everything was around Obama. Arnie was in the governor for California, so they really ramped that up here in Australia, and the marketing was good. Like the brand was strong back then. The cars back then were like just fuel guzzlers. Great cars, good tech, but I was doing that for a while, and then I was like, what's next? You're dealing with the general public trying to be professional as a car salesperson, and it's like
suit and tie.
Suit and tie every day. I'm this 19-year-old kid, this girl, I'm like trying to sell. Yeah. Like, if you could sell a Grand Cherokee, you're making mad comms on a Grand Cherokee. Everyone wants to come in for a Wrangler, but they just want to test drive it. They don't want to actually buy it. So a lot of that was like just figuring out what sales was, and you just baptism of fire, get into that. And I was like, I don't want to do this stuff, selling to people on the weekend. I want my weekends back. So I started looking for an actual proper job, but I've only got sales experience.
Yep.
Anyway, I get this job as a inside sales rep for Dell Computers in their large enterprise team, selling what, like storage arrays, servers arrays.
Selling storage for a computer company.
Yeah. Or as in like storage, as in like, these big, what do you call them? Like data centers. They need storage arrays. It's just like massive amounts of hard drives.
Yeah. So storage as in physical storage for their computers, hard drives.
Well, it's the
big box.
You're selling storage arrays, which is just like have you ever seen those things in like data centers?
Yeah. They're big.
They're massive, just like to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And they're just filled with hard drives. What is it?
Right. Okay.
But they used to call that's storage.
Right.
So you're just selling those.
And how do you sell that? Who do you sell that to? You don't walk up to the average bloke on the street. So.
That's when I learned so much about just like over the phone type of sales. Hey, these are your accounts. I have like Bupa Healthcare, like some big clients in their little patch, because you just kind of like, these guys already buy from us over X amount per year. You've got to increase their spend by 10 to 15%. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what do? You start calling them, meeting them, talking about, hey, what projects you got going on, blah, 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 blah.
Are you getting rejected a lot of time in that or not?
Not really.
Because they're already a client.
They're already a client, so it's warm, and you're selling to people who have already bought from you, that they already know what you're doing. And a lot of these companies were just like big growing companies. I remember one of the companies that I was managing was Iris Market Technology, and they like do, from what I understand, back at the time, like NAB Trade, they used to like just were a data center, and they just hosted all of these things for the banks and whatever. So they just need more servers and more storage arrays all the time.
And how long did you do that gig for?
I did it for about a year.
About a year? And then what'd you do after that?
Well, after that, bro, I was just...
So you've gone car sales, computer, storage sales.
Yeah, I don't even... That's like enterprise IT sales. Like, how many laptops did I sell? There would have been thousands.
Yeah.
But like you would have sold thousands across the country. Like,
yes,
right, we're just like getting rid of all the old tech, and we're just banging, you just like shipping.
Did you like that?
It was an amazing job because it taught me so much about relationships. I'll tell you a quick story. There was this one guy at that same company that I mentioned that did his name was Tan. And I called Tan. I was like, Tan, it's the end of the quarter. I'm a couple $100,000 off hitting my bonus. I'm going to ask you a favor. You've got all these servers and storage arrays that we've been pricing and quoting. Can you order them now? I know you're going to order them next month. Can you order them now? And that'll really help me out. Jase?
And Tan helped you?
Tan just, boom, I'll call you back. Let me call the warehouse and see if we've got any room in the warehouse. Bang. Next day, PO, boom. That was like $250,000 worth of like servers and storage.
Yeah.
And then that was a moment, like, I feel like I do that now in the BA land.
Yep.
Because
how does that relate to BA?
So much of the properties that you get access to off market or in a little position is through a relationship.
Yep.
I trust you.
Yep.
I want you to win because we've got a relationship. You've helped me. I want to help you.
Yeah.
And
that's what you're doing. You're buying off agents that you like. When you're getting off markets, it's not because the agent wants to flog the property quick or stuff like that. Obviously, it can be part of it, but majority of the time it's because they know you. Same with us. They give it to us because they know us. They trust us. They know that we're going to get the deal done. got a lot more chance actually getting it off market, taking the heat out of the deal than going on market and having 20, 30 other offers as well.
And the agents know. And it's not every single, like what we transact on is probably 10 to maybe 5% of the market some months would be the type of stuff we buy. And like I had a call from this guy from Ballarat banger, 3x1 in Windaree. Needed a bit of love, but he's like, bro, you cannot give this to a client. It's a stupid price. It's a deceased estate. The family have come to me. They said this is what they're happy to sell it at, and they're going to divvy up that money across the family.
Did he want you to buy it personally?
He said, you cannot give it to a client. It has to go to you. If you're not taking it, I'm putting it to auction.
Yep.
It's like, what? But why did he do that?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, just because he likes me.
Yeah.
Or like he wants me to win. They're getting what they want. I'm getting what I'm not even wanting it. He called me and said, you got to do this.
Did you take it?
I took it.
Yeah.
I'll show you the photos after this about like some of we're almost finished with the renos. But yeah, man, like it's all of this whole BA land is a relationship game. It's all relationship game.
So
yes,
we're in computer, tech, whatever sales. We're talking about BA now. How did you go and when did you go from that computer, data, sales stuff to BA? Was there more stuff in between?
Man, there's so much stuff. I don't know.
Heaps
I don't know
of
how
other
much.
stuff.
There's so many jobs in between that. There's maybe
What do we got? Give me a quick list.
quick one. I worked at the Entourage doing education sales. That was a phenomenal place.
So you went car sales,
Tech
storage sales, tech sales, then what?
and education.
Education sales. What else did you sell?
What else I sell? I was at a company. There was a water company. You're selling like water coolers and stuff like that. It's not. You're selling water coolers.
Yeah.
Right? And then I did another company, tech sales as well, but that was like software as a service. So like I'd done a few gigs, and I bet you I probably forgot one or two. I actually have. I worked at a company called Fat Profits.
Fat Profits. What are you selling there?
They sold.
Weight loss.
No, believe it or not, it's Fat Profits in regards to like the stock market. They sold stock market research.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here's a crypto, bro.
Mate,
Swipe up for my.
That is, you realize that type of business is ridiculous. They've got these researchers that have got data about what's a buy, hold, sell in the stock market.
Yep.
What do I have? I've got a list in front of me of people that have got their self-managed super funds, and I just call them, hey, Billy, have you still got your self-managed super fund? Yeah. What are you doing with the portfolio? Oh, don't know. I kind of just leave it. And would you like to get some research on what are good buy, holds, and sells every quarter?
Okay.
Oh, and then you just pitch them.
And did you learn about that side of, stock investing? Obviously very heavy property now.
Yeah.
So you learn about stocks?
So much about stocks, about managed funds. They had that particular company had their own managed funds as well. So it was really interesting to learn about it. And then that was in between. But then I went on to these other companies and I was like, no, property's away from me.
So you learned about stocks.
Yeah.
And how many properties do you own now?
I own 7 properties now.
How much stocks do you have?
Absolutely no stocks.
So you clearly learnt about the stock market. Why did you not go down that route of investing in stocks? I own no stocks either.
What?
So I'm not against it, but I prefer property.
If I was to
Why do you prefer it?
It's got to be the leverage. Like $100,000. Let's say I put $100,000 into a property with closing costs, whatever, all the stuff to put down deposit stamps. I put that into the stock market and get 10%. I'm only making
10 grand.
10 grand.
Yeah.
But if I do that in a property in a good market, and that market does 10%, which is what, 50?
You can't argue. Yeah, it's hard to argue with. Yeah. And if you want to get that 50 grand return on your 100K worth of stocks, 50% return a year, you're going to be taking a lot of risk to get that, or you're going to be extremely lucky. And you can't leverage it back out to go and buy again. With the property, property goes up, you pull that equity out, suddenly you got $1 million worth of property, not 500.
When you figure that, when
the penny drops,
you hear that, right? And you're like, that makes sense.
Yep.
Doing it is so petrifying, I remember our first property that we bought back in 2021. And I remember even that, we actually bought that with a guarantor.
So first property that you bought,
yep.
We spoke about this before, but you're 50-50 at first, I think, and you were thinking about buying the owner-occupied property,
correct,
which was in the Shire, right?
Yep.
And you didn't.
We didn't.
So why not?
At that time, I was in a transition of my career,
Yep.
I think the most compelling thing that me and my wife did was like, what do we want our life to look like?
Mhm.
We had just had my eldest daughter now. We just had our first kid. Married, first kid. Okay, what do we do? And like we left it for so late to just ask that question. What do we do? Well, we got to get a place. At the time, we were renting in Randwick. We just had my daughter, and we're like, let's punt the rent because now Jamie Lee's not working, and we'll move in with my parents. So I'm fucking nearly married, got a kid, living with my parents. I was like, this is not where I thought I'd be. I got to buy. Instantly, it's like, I've got to get out of here. I've got to buy a place.
And then what? You looked at the prices in the Shire and went, wow,
Well,
not cheap.
At the time, it actually even wasn't that, because I looked at an apartment in Caringbah.
Yep.
On the Kingsway.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about 500. And I was like, oh, I could afford this. Yeah, like we'll get in, we'll get it done. And then it's like, but Caringbah, there is housos everywhere, and it's a very scummy part of the Shire. Or I shouldn't say, or pockets of it is a bit scummy. And I was like, it's a small 2-bed, 1-bathroom unit. We're going to outgrow this thing very quickly. We want to have more kids. So we're like, okay, we can afford to pay it. You look at the repayment, you're like, I could do it. But then I need this thing to kick a lot to really grow so that I can sell it and make a profit and then move into the townhouse or whatever.
Mm.
How much does that need to grow? A lot. Like
Probably double.
Yeah. Like hundreds of thousands.
Especially if you wanted something freestanding, which,
what was that? Like 1.5
Yeah.
to get something freestanding. So I was like going from 500 to like 1.5. I can't do that. So
you were also at this stage transitioning out of some type of sales role, I'm assuming.
Yes. I was at the water company at this stage, and it was like, we sat down and was like, okay, if I'm going to be, at the time I was the inside sales manager, if I was to go to sales director or national sales manager, what does the pay increase look like? An extra 20, 30 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What type of life do we want to have? All right, this is the type of house we want to live in. What's that going to cost us to rent it or to buy it? That gives you a number.
And what was that? What did that look like? Was it a 5-bed house on the water with a Lambo out the front?
It was just a modest, like 3-bed, 1-bath, normal house in like Miranda or something. We're like, yeah, we could settle for something. At the time, that was even ambitious. I'm saying settle now. But it was, at the time, that's what we wanted. Okay, this is where we could raise a family. And then, like, man, if I made an extra 20, 30 grand a year, I'm going to pay half that in tax. So I'm going to get an extra 10 grand to 50 grand in my pocket a year. That's like maybe just an extra holiday.
It's tough.
Like, an extra holiday. Bro, we weren't even taking holidays at that stage. That just gets us a holiday.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, this isn't the way. Like, buying the house isn't the way. But even if we went further down that list, all right, we do want the holiday once a year. We do want this once a year. We would like to buy this type of car. The repayments.
So you figured out you needed to make more income.
Bro,
hence the career change.
Correct.
How did you go from water sales to ending up at buyer's agency?
That's a long piece, because that would have taken me 12 months to make that decision.
Was it like an ad that you're seeing for a job?
No ads, no nothing.
No.
I think I've always been.
You were interested in property
I was
before that?
interested in property before that, correct? And I had read a book at the time called High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard. And in there, he talks about like finding people that are 5 years ahead of you, 10 years ahead of you, and asking them questions to extract, if I need to be to where you are now, how do I fast track that? Like, how do I get to that? And there was a couple of people that I hit up. One person that I hit up in particular was a sales agent, because I was considering getting to sales. And it was a friend of mine, Dan. He's actually a great sales agent in the Roselle type of area, Adrian. I spoke to Adrian. I called him out of the blue. Hey, your mate's with my mate, Dan. I've been thinking about getting into sales. Like, what do you think I should do? Jase, tell me your setup. I just had a kid. This guy's a very successful real estate agent. I thought he was going to rev me up. Like, yeah, man.
You can do it.
You should do it. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, don't do it.
No, too hard.
Well, he was just saying, like, the market, if you're going to do it locally in the Shire, it's going to take you 7 years to really crack the market. And you're going to be working 6 days a week. Forget about your family. Forget about your marriage. It's all going to be like kaput. And he's like, don't do it. I was like,
it's hard industry to start in and be good at.
Yeah. So that was a massive eye opener. And then that's when I started to look into buyer's agency. And I reached out to a great buyer's agent at the time. And well, still is a great buyer's agent. And I asked him the same questions, and he was like, "Yep, sweet. We spoke, and then that's how I got into the buyer's agency
Cool.
space."
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you started working as a buyer's agent.
Yep.
And then through that, I'm assuming, is where you went, all right, I can see what clients are doing and what the strategy is here around buying properties, not so much to live in, but as an investment. Maybe I should do this myself. Is that what happened? Or
Yeah, well,
because how did you get to the first property? Because you realized that you didn't want that owner occ.
Yeah.
Then you went and bought in Warnbro, which I got a property in too, same suburb in WA.
Let's go.
Mate, it's 5,000 kilometers away.
Yeah.
You were going to buy it where you live, and then you flip and do that instead. That's a big transition.
And at the time, the guy that I was working for, great mentor of mine. Like, he taught me so much about property and honestly about property investing.
Yeah.
Like, I was very green when I first started in the buyer's agent space, and it gave me a shot. And what did I know? I knew sales, I knew how to create relationships, and I knew how to, like, I asked that guy, "Hey man, can you do this order now and pull it forward a few months because I need to hit a bonus?"
Yeah.
I knew that type of salesmanship, but I didn't know property investing. And I knew that he did. He had a sizable property portfolio, and he was my age. I was like, how did you do that? So anyway, but I had seen results from what he had done, and I was like, okay, I want to learn how, like, if he could do this, how do I do this? Like, teach me. And yeah, man, after that, getting into that, it was just like, I'll do one deal. Bang, I had the pre-approval for the place in Caringbah. Switch it to an investment property. And I was still so nervous. Like, what was I buying? I don't know. I think at the time I looked at, hey, the stuff in and around this area are selling for anywhere from mid to high 300s. I'm buying this thing for mid 300s. Is a good it's a good deal.
And it was a freestanding house, decent sized block, Curry Street?
Bro, 95 Curry Street, good memory. Look it up, like 95
Close
Curry
to
Street,
water.
Warnbro. Your two street, you got Curry Street, then you got Fendham Street, then you got the ocean.
Yep.
So it's a 800 square meter block, double brick house, double carport. You go through the carport, you got a double lock up garage at the back.
And what year? 2021?
It's 2021. So we signed the contract on that at end of
The
2020.
market there was crazy back then. There was nothing happening. The prices were ridiculously cheap. Everyone was so scared of Perth.
Everyone's so scared.
And I went there. I bought in up in Lake. I say Coogee, but the locals over there always correct me. They say it's Coogee. So Lake Coogee up near Spearwood. And I bought there in about July 21.
Yep.
And then I bought down in Warnbro in Jan or Feb 22.
22.
And when I said to the property manager in Coogee, whatever it is, that I was going to buy in Rockingham, they were all like, "Oh no, don't go there. Oh wow,
Yeah.
lock your doors when you drive through that place." And then I thought, okay, well that's what people said when I bought in Ipswich, and it doubled in a few years. And I went there, and as soon as I got there, I was just like, this place is nice. It's so nice. It's on the water. There's so much coastline up there. The beaches are lovely.
But the beaches are empty.
They're empty, but they're so nice.
Yeah, incredible.
And if you go to Rockingham on the foreshore there as well, you got your cafes, restaurants, bars, all that sort of thing. It's a great lifestyle. And I'm looking at the properties, and I bought similar to you, a freestanding house, 800-meter block, few streets back from yours, still on the beach side of that Warnbro Sound Ave, and it was $404,000. And the agent, it had done like, mate, 5% growth. And he's like, oh, yeah, they're getting a bit pricey now. And I was just thinking, mate, you have no idea. Like, you don't know what's coming.
No idea. But isn't it funny when you're in a market at the right time, you speak to some of these agents and they just can't see it.
They can't see it.
Because they've said, oh, I've been here for 15 years selling. And
well, the last 8 years before that, they'd just seen it go down. So as soon as the prices start to go up, they're like, oh, it's overvalued now. It's going to keep going down soon.
So this one down the street for 10 grand less.
Well, I bought for 404, and I think the person before me bought it in 2015, so peak of the boom.
Yeah.
I think they paid like $395.
So, on mine, you can look it up on realestate.com.
Yeah.
I paid $350 for it. In 2018, they paid $340 for it. 10 grand they made in 3 years.
The first one I bought for 440 up in Lake Coogee. And it was, I bought it for less than what they bought it for 8 years prior or whatever. But a lot of people will look at that and go, well, I'm not buying that because it's done nothing for 8 years. It's gone backwards. So why would I buy there? But that's the perfect time to buy when everything else is going in the market's favor. So
Like, what do you think now? What do you think about people saying, hey, I want to buy in Perth? What do you think about that now?
I thought it was going to slow down a year ago. It hasn't.
Yeah.
Well, it did for a bit. If you look at the data in most of the suburbs, you'll see they did plateau off for a little bit.
Yeah.
Even in Warnbro, it came down a little bit for a few months there, and then it kept going up.
But when you say a little bit, it still would have been, the cool off would have been 10 to 14% growth, which is like way higher than the normal average.
Oh, exactly.
And
So
that's a cool off.
and it's booming again now. It's done. I think if I look at those Rockingham suburbs for the last year, they're at like 20%, something like that, aren't they? What is it?
A couple of weeks ago, Warnbro, 2025, 24% growth.
It's insane.
And that's a cool off, man.
Yeah.
But what do you say about people, because it's now had so much growth? What do you say to people?
Obviously, I've got properties there. I'm not selling, but I'm not rushing to buy back in there again because I think that, like I said, I thought it would cool down because it doubled in, 3.5 years, literally. Usually you see the markets slow down, but we've got a lot of stuff like, interest rates are now on the rise again, but they did start coming down. First home buyer incentives, which also shot the market up all around the country. Genius idea by the government. I think that Perth, if you live there as an owner-occ, righto, cool, buy there. But if you've got the whole country to pick from as an investor, I think there's other markets at a better point in their cycle to have a close to that doubling over the next 5 to 7 years rather than Perth, because it's done now. Like if you look at Warnbro, it's probably 130, 140% in 5-6 years.
What?
It's pretty unlikely that's going to do another 140% in the next 5.
Can I play devil's advocate a bit?
Go for it.
What happens if I'm like a conservative property investor?
Yep.
I want something that's got a good track record. I'm not looking for it to double, Billy. I'm just looking to put my money into something that's going to give me a better return than what it would be if I put in the share market.
I think if you're looking for that and you've got a long-term view, then yeah, you can still buy in Perth. But I'd still prefer other markets, like markets that we know well, Ballarat, Shepparton, Bendigo, down in Tassie now as well. These markets have underperformed, or VIC's been going for the last 18 months, but they're at the start of a very strong growth cycle as well. So we're going to get the long-term growth there, but also a lot more chance of us getting that big, 40, 50% uplift in the next 2-3 years that'll propel you into more.
Some people can't see that, huh? Like
they can't.
I want something safe. So many people come to me and they talk about like, I want to buy an investment property, but I want to buy 2. But I don't want to sacrifice the lifestyle. I still want to buy the nice car. I still want to go on holidays every year. And
I want to be rich. I want to retire on 500K passive income, but their income's 150K.
Literally, that's what they're saying.
Can't do it.
And those are normally the people that want to buy the investment property in Perth now.
Yep. And they're the ones that want to retire. Well, I reckon the ones like that are also the ones that have seen it boom, so they think it's going to boom continuously again. Yeah. So I think, there's a lot of people that have this idea that they can get into property and in a few years they're rich and retired and stuff like that. As you know, the reality is if you want to build a decent property portfolio, you need to get a strong income as well. Because I get a lot of people come to us that want to buy 10 properties. I think I said this on your podcast, but I get them come in and they say, all I want to do is I just want to buy 10 properties in 10 years. And I'm like,
okay.
I've bought 9 in 8 years or 9 years. I'll probably hit 10 in 10 years. It's been really hard. And I've worked a lot more than majority of these people that come to me are going to do. And I've made more money the last few years than the majority of them are going to do. They come in and they want to do that on 100 grand, 150 grand. And you can't have it all.
Yeah.
Even if they are making the money, like you say, they still want the brand new Range Rover. They still want the 5 holidays overseas. Yeah, a Raptor, my favorite. So you got to, like you, for example, when you bought that first property, you kept acquiring properties shortly after. So you would have had to sacrifice a bit of lifestyle. Did you or did you not?
Well, yeah, I was living at home with my mum. I just had my first kid and I was probably making about 120 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And we were saving and we honestly we had spent so much on the wedding that we banged depleted the bank accounts. So now we're trying to save and we pretty much save 10, 15 grand. That ends up being the stamps, paying for our stamps on the place that we bought in Warnbro, parents were in guarantor.
Yeah, great.
So that goes up. That goes up in value. We refinance the parents off. 6 months later, we wait again, and then we take 40 grand, 45 or something out of that to buy another place.
Where'd you go then?
Then we went, stayed in Perth, and we bought an Atwell, which
Atwell,
is
Atwell?
Coburn Council, Success, Coburn,
Yep.
all that type of area.
And what'd you buy there?
4 bed, 2 bath, freestanding, 350 square meter block, small block.
I don't mind small
Yeah.
blocks. A lot of people hate the small blocks.
hate
They
them,
think
man.
they're not going to grow. And a lot of people also want the big blocks so they can do a development, but then they never do a development.
They don't even know
I'm guilty of
how
that
to
too.
develop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we buy that, but man, in between that, even still, like how much more have I saved in between that time? That would have been maybe 15 months between property number 1 and property number 2. Bro, my wife's off work.
Yep.
We just had a baby. I'm still living from my parents.
Single income.
Single income. By the second one, we had moved out. We're renting a nice, decent place in Cronulla, 2 bed, 1 bath unit, small. And so we're renting. I don't have much surplus cash, right? Like I'm making.
But you're saving all your surplus cash. Is that right?
Well, no, like I'm not.
Yeah, because you don't have any.
I barely got any. You know what I mean? Like I'm literally banking on equity.
Yeah.
I've maybe saved 10 or so grand or something during that time frame.
Yep.
And so I buy it. I sign a contract on it with a 3-month settlement. I didn't have the money to complete. And I was like, I spoke to the lender at the time. He's like, yeah, sweet, you can do it. And I remember we saved like demons.
How much more did you need to come up with? So you signed a contract.
6 grand.
Signed a contract and you didn't have enough to complete the purchase. How long was the signing of the contract and settlement?
It was 3 months.
Okay, so
Yeah.
3 months. And then you saved 26 grand in 3 months.
Yeah. Stupid.
Just not doing anything. You
We-
eating bread and jam.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're just like, and Jamie Lee was like, this is so shit. Like, we just done this for the last 12 months ago. And you were telling me like,
We're going to be rich. It's
we're
gonna
going
be worth
to
it.
get ahead.
And now we're in a worse position.
And now we're like, all right, we've got one property and now we've just like leveraged that thing back to the eyeballs. And now we're going to buy this one. We don't even have the money to complete. And we're starting to make some decent money because I was a buyer's agent at that time. And you're still like, we're still not really getting anything. And we want to have another baby soon.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, that's
Yeah, you've really done well here.
that's pretty much it. And it's like, right, so we buy the second one and bro, we save for 3 months. We settle, drain the bank accounts, $0.
That 3 months, though, that would have been, what, 2022-ish?
Yeah.
That property would have gone up in value and you would have bought it well, doing negotiations and being a buyer's agent and everything like that. It would have had equity in it at settlement.
That was honestly, going back to the relationship thing, agent calls me. He's a Rockingham agent selling for someone in Rockingham and Atwell simultaneously. He says, they've just told me they want 460 for the 4x2 in Atwell. Go on RP data and tell me what you think it's worth.
Yep. What'd you say?
He just said, just look at the estimated market value. Estimated market value was 500, medium confidence, but it had a range. And I was like, bro, I reckon it's worth high 4s. It's like, bro, get me an offer 460 at yours today. And I was like, I'm not even negotiating. He calls me and tells me, bro, you should buy this thing. Say
it
it's the same, it's the MO. And I was like, you really think it's a good deal? At the time, I was mopping up Quinana, Rockingham, Mandurah. Like I was just Southern Pocket.
Mandurah was ridiculous.
Right?
Ridiculous.
And one of the first deals I ever lost was a 4-bed, 2-bath, double car in Hillman. And it was 254. Unless I sent it to a
Yeah,
client.
that's tough.
And then it was like,
What's that suburb, Mandurah? What would it be? East of the main road, Greenfields.
Greenfields.
Mate,
Cracker.
4 and 2s there for what, 300? Like low 300s? Now they're what, 8? More?
850.
850? Yeah.
The 3-in-1s were mad as well. You're buying them for 250 grand, 240 grand. Incredible.
Well, there was properties in Armidale for, I seen them in the ones, 190, 195. And I went there and I was like, this is too rough. It's not going to grow. It grew.
And it grew.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that I missed out on while we're talking about regret, 2x1 units on the foreshore. Like 2x1 flats on the foreshore, right?
Yeah.
There are these, a unit I think is one thing. A flat, in my definition,
This is around Rockingham,
Is around
Shoalwater.
yes.
Yep. Great
safety
spot.
bay,
Yep.
all that stuff. They're just units, 2x1 little units, and they're on the floor. They're not high rise, but they're just on a massive block of like 200,000.
I say it all the time. I love the right unit.
Bro,
Don't go wrong. Yeah,
And-
walking distance to the beach or directly across the road from the beach, and a lot of the time, yeah.
I was getting offered them off market with tenants in them from 180 to 210. They'd all sell for 450 plus now.
But the rent would be 500, 550 now too.
Cracker.
Crazy. Yeah.
And at the time, I was new to the industry.
There was heaps of them in that Rockingham, behind that where you got the Rockingham foreshore and the cafes and stuff. That there's a little pocket of all townhouses, units, all that stuff.
That's all exploded, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was just, I think the difference was that you could buy the house also for 250.
Correct.
So like it was like it didn't quite make sense, but they all grew. But your entry point on the two of them at the time was so close that it was like you may as well just chip in an extra 5 or 10 and get the house for 250, not the unit for 190. But I think that
How many would you buy if you could go back?
I would
All
buy
of it.
all of
Me
them.
too.
You know,
I
And that's-
tried.
That's actually one thing I'm so glad I did do is we went balls to the wall for the first 3 and we just freaking ripped it hard and we save. But that's 2.5 years of property investing that we just live like absolute paupers, right? And
So after Atwell,
Yep.
where was the next one?
Rockhampton.
Rockhampton. That was another market that was
Bersica.
ridiculously cheap. Yeah. And what was that? Freestanding. Let me guess. Freestanding. Twos in the twos, high
Yes.
twos,
No,
mid twos.
bro, 203. 203.
And this would have been what, 2022?
This was
3?
2022, yeah. It was stupid.
Ridiculous.
One of the boys that I work with, absolute legend in the buy.
203.
Jake McGregor.
Yeah, good bloke.
Calls me, Jase, because he was calling me, you get any bangers in Rockhampton, bro, or sorry, Rockingham, let me know. I want to do a deal in Rockingham. And I was like, bro, you find a banger, call me, I want it. So he calls me one day, I'm at my mate's farm, my mate Nick again. I'm at my mate's farm, he's like, Jase, I got this banger. 800 square meter, corner block, Bersica. The agent just told me these 2 kids inherited it. They want 100 grand each out of it. I'm going to charge them 3 grand. The price is 203. Like,
It sounds unbelievable. It wasn't. I in that period, I was looking at that market and I actually was making, if you go back on my TikTok, I was making TikToks about it, but I was capped out at that point. Yeah, back then.
I've been in this TikTok game for a while.
Yeah, a few years. Yeah, 2022 I started. Yeah, I was posting a lot in probably it was when the Berserker, is that how I say it? Berserker, even Park Ave, Frenchville.
Some
all
people
those
say
suburbs.
bazooka.
Bazooka sounds all right. But there was heaps of what I really liked was the duplexes.
Yep.
Brick duplexes, 400, 380, 350. And they were renting at the time. You could buy them for 400 or high threes and rent for 600, 650 combined. Now, what are those rents? 800, 900 combined, maybe 1,000 a week.
Wow.
And you bought them for 350, 400. So I was looking at those, but I was tapped out borrowing capacity wise. So I never got into Rockhampton at all. By the time I was ready to go again, it was a bit late and I went elsewhere. But ridiculously good market.
Wow.
And a lot of people, I reckon, when you were buying as the buyer's agency at that time, probably would have been like, why? Why Rockhampton?
Why Rockhampton?
Why would I buy there?
Every single market,
Because it
you
hadn't
first
done
get into
anything
it,
before that.
everyone, I've never presented something in a new market, someone that doesn't say why. Even still to this day, some people say, oh, why is that? It's like, can I just show you what's happening with the infrastructure spend, population growth, average incomes, building improvements are down.
The yields, vacancy rates are under 1%, stock on market's plummeting, days on market are plummeting. Yeah.
And then they're like, there's a bit of a recipe to this thing. And you're like, yeah, this recipe, can I show you this recipe with the data back in 2023 in this area? Oh, wow. It repeats itself. And it's just like, but Rockhampton was the next one.
That's good. So we've moved from 1 to 3
1 to 3.
in what, 18 months or 2 years?
About that would have been end of 2020 to now, into 2022.
And then you've got 7 today.
Yeah.
Right. So the next one.
Are we go through all of them? I feel like such a vlog going through all of them.
I like it. The next one was what year? I want to guess where it was. I reckon I have a good idea. I've never talked about this before. I reckon it would have been Townsville.
He's on the money.
Condon.
Yeah.
What suburb?
No. Cranbrook.
Okay. Yeah.
Cranbrook.
Yeah.
Right.
And what price?
Again, 283.
It's ridiculous. And then, so that's Cranbrook. And then what year was that?
Cranbrook, that was 2023.
2023. Wow.
Agent
then-
calls,
Yeah. What
off
happened there?
market.
Yeah.
Hey, Jase, I got this one. Mad price. I think it's probably worth close to low to mid threes. Sorry, 3 to low threes.
Probably bought it with a 7% yield.
Right. And then there was tenants in there paying 350, something like that, in the threes. I reckon you could probably rent it out for 420 a week.
Yep.
Right.
That's mate, 9%.
But even still, man, I'm on my 4th deal. I remember my negative cash flow because I'm all down on this thing. What deposit have you heard me put in so
correct.
far? Nothing.
You're ripping it. You're buying and you're making equity, but then you're pulling absolutely everything you can back out as soon as possible. So your properties may start off positive on purchase price or whatever, but by the time you refinance, max equity back
I'm taking
out.
them all up to 88%.
Yep.
Bang, 88%, 88%, 88%.
And are you going interest only on all these?
Interest only on all of them. So I'm just like pushing the envelope,
Yep.
and I'm starting to feel it. Jamie Lee is not working. I'm fortunate this time where I'm making decent money, but even still making decent money, I've got 4 properties or I've got 3. And then the 4th, I'm like, I've got to run the numbers multiple times on this thing just to make sure I'm comfortable with the negative cash flow.
How did you go home and say, hey, we've just stressed ourselves out completely over the last 18 months. We're buying again.
Well, Jamie Lee's been so good, man. Like, she's just like, she backs me all the time.
She could see it by this
She
stage.
she could see it. She understands. She understood. Blah blah blah. Like if you ask her what interest rate we're on at any of the properties, she would know.
Yep.
But she knows, like, she understands we're buying in growth areas. They're going up in value. We're taking equity out. We keep moving. But even still, man, like, I'm changing career. When I change careers into the real estate space, I'm making like what people would consider out there decent coin. You know, I was making like 140-ish in the sales manager space. And she's like, if you're not happy, have a go, back yourself and get
That's
into
good.
real estate. So I was like, I remember thinking like, you think so? And she's like, yeah, I think you'd be great at it. Like, have a crack.
It's good.
Yeah, okay. Like,
Helps.
I was stunned. But yeah, she's backed me the whole place. She's backed me all the time. But yes, I was the one that was more stressed because she was just always like, yeah, if you think it's a good deal, let's do it. I'm like, I think we're getting it at a great price. I think this market's going to pump.
Can we afford it?
But we're going to be negative $2,500 a month on this thing if we do this. Oh yeah, we could do that. And it's like, I'm still driving the Hyundai Tucson, and I drove it here today. At the time, I still hadn't even bought a second car. We're using one car between the two of us. We now got 2 kids. She's not working, and we're living in we've upgraded from the 2x1 unit to a 3x1 little townhouse.
Yep.
And it's like, we're still living below our means, but we're building this property portfolio in the background that's supposed to be
equity.
something. We got equity, yes.
At some point, it's going to pay off.
It's
paying off now, but you keep going back and pulling the equity out. So you're almost at 90% debt the whole time.
Right, we're at 90% debt the whole time. The cash flows look terrible. We do the Townsville deal.
Yep.
And it's like, buying that was like, okay, it's getting easier because we got equity in Curry Street, High Street, freaking in Atwell. Bang,
It starts to snowball.
There's equity everywhere.
Doesn't become the problem. It's income.
Yes.
You need income, which is, that's something that I am glad I did was I bought 6 properties while still on PAYG wages before I went into business. And I had the 6 when I turned 25. And I went as hard as I could every single time I could. And I wish I could have bought more, but I couldn't. I was trying as hard as I possibly could to buy more. I hate that regret feeling.
Yeah.
Every investor you talk to is like, that gets down the line and ends up with a decent portfolio. The one regret is I should have bought more when I could.
I can handle on heart say, I'm sitting here, I'm going to stare straight down the barrel. I have
red
got
line.
no regret.
The red line.
Because I leveraged us to the freaking eyeballs, and I went all the way, and I pushed our serviceability to the limit on every purchase.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have that. I'm
You didn't want that regret.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could I have bought more in Perth? Couldn't have bought more. Didn't have any cash. And by the time that we did have the cash and the serviceability again, bang, I was straight back into the next one. Bang, straight back into the next one. And
Me too. I was doing valuations. They come back not high enough. I do it again a month later. Yeah. Another bank. Yeah.
So
Different broker. This one said no. Different broker again. Go 2, 3 brokers. Go to the bank myself.
right?
Yeah.
And you just find a way. And I've worked with some guys in the clients, and the way that they, the ones that approach their portfolio like that, they're like, some people are just like, hey man, you tell me what to buy, when to buy, when I've got equity. Those are great clients too. But the ones that are so deeply entrenched with like, man, I want you to like
hassle me.
Yeah, to like, and then you say that to them, and then they're the ones hassling me. Hey man, how much equity have I got? How much equity have I got? It's been 3 months. How much? And so the ownership, I think, is such a big part, right? And I think Jale and I had such a strong conviction of like, this is the vehicle that's going to get us out of the matrix, the rat race, the normal thing that we were in. But yeah, that was Townsville, and that was
Townsville.
That's what's that? Probably number 4.
That's probably number 4. And then from there, when was the next one? What year? Tell me. 24 or 23 still?
Would have been 6.5 months later in Townsville again.
Okay, cool. What suburb was that one?
That was in Serengawa Central. It's basically Kerwin.
Okay.
It's the same postcode as Kerwin.
Small suburb?
A very small suburb.
I've
People
never
basically just call it
looked at
Kerwin.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Serengawa Central, 4-bed, 2-bath, Raintree Way.
There's a Kerwin in Rockhampton too. Is
there?
Is it Kerwin?
I
think it is.
But I don't know.
It's not. It's Kawana, I think it is.
Kawana.
Something like that. I don't know. Similar. Righto. And what was that deal?
4-bed, 2-bath, brick house, 744 square meter block.
Do I want to know how much?
Purchase.
512?
512 from the same agents.
Why 512? What was it?
Before I'd always subscribed to the school of thought was like cheaper is better.
Bit better suburb as well on the socio scale too. So median price is going to be a bit more around the Kerwin area, I would assume, even at the time back then.
Yeah.
And you're right in town. So what was special? What did it rent for? Was it a big block?
Big block, yes. It was a brick veneer place, 744 square meter block, like I said. And at this stage, the rent was terrible. The rent was only $500 a week, and it was locked in for a period.
I say terrible, but it's still 5%.
It's 5%, but back then, like
it was. Yeah, you get sevens and a half, 7. No, not 7.5, but 6.5, 7. Easy. Yeah.
Yes, correct. So it's like the rent was crap. That's why I wasn't able to negotiate so hard on it. It was the same guy that I bought Cranbrook from, and we negotiated hard because like, man, I can't up the rent on this thing for ages. I'm already freaking negative $2,500 a year. Sorry.
And the thing that kills you in Townsville is the council rates and the insurance.
$4,000 a year.
Yeah, and your insurance.
$4,000 a year, but as well. So you're $8,000 in the hole just off council rates and your insurance. So we do that one, and that one, I at this stage, again, I'm saying I'm a bit fortunate, but you can hear the struggle along the way. I'm an absolute workhorse. My dad was, or both my parents immigrants to this country, come over here, and the one thing I got from my dad was just work ethic, just outwork the guy next to you.
That's what most people lack,
right?
You want something to happen, you got to put in the work, you got to put in the effort. Yeah.
I got into the BA space, and I just thought, I know absolutely nothing about property investing. I know how to cold call, I know how to call people, and I know how to build a relationship with people. That's what I know. And I was told that is a good skill to have. So I was like, sweet, I'll just outwork absolutely everyone who I know, and I'll just call more people. Because at the time, it was just call more people.
I see a lot of people that are successful, and even in business owners that I've seen doing more than me or further ahead than me, and then I'm wondering what it is, the systems, the structure, what they do differently that I don't know. Most of the times they've just been working ridiculously hard for 10 years.
That's it. Okay. And then it starts to come to them instead of them chasing it.
Yes.
The tables turn at some stage, and it's like, it's coming to me.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
So properties now for you are going to be getting a lot easier to buy because you've worked hard, you've got the equity, and now you're doing well with business. So you're going to have income to be able to service more debt and keep going. But the first, four or five were rough. So after Kerwin, what did we do then? And what year? 2024 now, surely.
Or 2023.
2023 still.
Or the last one's am I what, 5?
You're at Warnbro, Atwell, Berserker, Cranbrook, Kerwin.
Okay. Yeah, 5. And then the last 2 is Ballarat and Darwin.
Yep. And what'd you get in Ballarat, Sebastian?
Ballarat that's a Windery.
Oh, yep. Good. Oh, is that the one you're renovating?
That's the one we're renovating, yep. And then...
And when was that?
Well, that's recent. That would have been last year, 2025.
You sold Berserker, right?
Punted.
Yep. Got rid of that. Yep. Why? Because what'd you sell it for? Bought it for 203.
I bought it for 203, sold for 330.
Sold for 330. What year?
end of 2024.
Okay. I think that'd be worth, probably, 500 now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like I miss, that is a
You
funny
could have got
thing.
more growth out of that.
What happened with Berserker? That's kind of like the fork of the road for me.
Mhm.
Like the decision to sell that was the, how much time we got on this episode?
Yeah, go.
I've got so many
yourself. Yeah,
stories.
go for it.
I was at a stage of my career where I was like, I'm leveraging myself hard here, man.
Yep.
And I'm negative mag $2.5 grand plus on the portfolio per month, and the income, I'm working a lot of hours, 5 days a week, from like the phone starts ringing at 7:30 and it doesn't stop ringing till 9 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
And it's like, I don't know how I double my income from here. I can't see how I get more to keep building this thing, but I can see that it works, and I can see that if I can keep feeding this portfolio, it turns into something. That's like at the end of 2024.
Mhm.
And it's like, I need a new way and a different way to make money. I can't.
And that was business for yourself.
Yeah.
So you sold, I think we have chatted about this actually, you sold that to give yourself a buffer funds, so you weren't starting a business broke.
Correct.
Which is ridiculously good idea.
Yeah.
I see it a lot of the time. People want to start a business. Reason the business fails initially is because it's a lot harder than they think it's going to be, but they fail not because the person's not trying, although some people don't, but it's because they run out of cash in the early stages, because it takes a year or 2 years to be profitable. So the best way to do it is, if you can pull equity out of a property, get yourself a buffer sitting there. Whenever I have a client that wants to start a business, I'm like, cool, before you leave this job, let's refinance 2-3 properties, get out 150, 200K equity, go start the business then with that in the offset. Try not to use it, but if you need to, then it's there.
Yeah.
So you obviously did that, and you went, I'm going to get more growth in this property if I hold it. I want to do something different. I want to keep going. I want to start my own business, but I don't want to do that when I've got a negatively geared portfolio and bugger all cash.
Correct.
So sold it, banked some money, put 100 odd grand in the offset or something like that, and then went out and obviously started the buyer's agency.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so that was like the amount I toiled with that for ages, because it was like, I want to have a crack at doing this. I need a better way to make money, all this type of stuff. I had strong relationships with the agents that I was working at, and I was like, but I can't see, I can't see, I want the next, I know what the next 2-3 levels, and the game that I'm playing here, I can't unlock those levels doing.
Same with when you were in the water, selling the water business. You went, the next pay rise is 140, the next 20 grand, something like that.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. You went, all right, if I'm going to work at this company, things are going pretty well, but I want to be able to keep building the portfolio, and to do that, I can't see how I can do that in the job.
More like, it's, if we're talking the numbers, and I don't want to go into the specifics, but it's like, if you told the 23, 24-year-old Jason that he'd be making that type of money in a great company with a great job, with a great everything, a great brand, everything, it's like,
why would you leave?
What are you doing, bro? Why are you leaving? You know, this is more than what you'd ever hope for. But as you keep leveling up and going through the stages of, I want to call it life, because what upped the ante was the kids. What upped the ante was my wife fully reliant and backing me on earning an income and taking us to the life that we want to build. And that in itself is a lot of pressure, I think, for guys and men in this culture and in this world even. But it's like, I need to continually keep making hard decisions, right? I had, like, leaving the water company, I was working with a great mate of mine, and he was the national sales director. Yeah. And it's like, am I going to leave him to go start a new career
that I don't know if I'm going to
be
good at? I don't know if I think I'm going to be good at it, but I really haven't done it before. Yeah.
Right? And I remember at the time he was like, oh man, like, I don't know if that's the right thing for you to do, blah, blah, blah. You know, you've worked so hard to get to where you're up to. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But I can't keep playing this game, because like what I want, like I know the results I'm going to get out of this game. And so I toured with that for so long. And what did give me the confidence was to sell the Rockhampton place. And the Rockhampton place was like this, it just gave me a weight off the shoulders to be like, sweet, we've got comfortably
A bit of
a
funds.
year's worth of
Yep.
funds here if I cannot get this business to kick.
Yep. Surely I'm going to start getting sales if I try as hard as I can every day for 6 months.
Right.
Surely.
I knew that I had one skill to talk to people and to pick up the phone and to create a relationship. And so I was just like, all right, I'm just going to have a crack. I'll sell that and start up the biz.
Cool. And with the business, you're buying for clients now, obviously.
Yep.
It's going well. What are you seeing clients come to you wanting to do? Where are you buying roughly? What type of properties are you buying?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same philosophy that you've done? Which I think it is pretty similar.
It's pretty similar.
It's different for each person, obviously, but
I think that's what's most important, man. That the majority of the phone calls that I have is people are calling me saying, hey, I've got this property, this property, this property. What's my next move? How do I keep growing the property portfolio?
Yeah.
And the most common client that we work with is someone in their 40s-ish, like 40, like kind of mid to late 30s, kind of early 40s that are doing well. They're doing well in their business. They're doing well in their career. And some of the clients, like these two clients, Mark and Meg, bro, they've basically paid off their mortgage. They're both pilots. And they're just like, well, they didn't say this, but they're kind of like, we got all this money piling up. What do we do with it?
let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
Just like someone told us to call you because we wanted to invest in property.
Mate,
Those guys have done 4 deals in the last 6 months.
Yep. And they'll be able to keep going as well.
They're just But where are we buying? Like more often than not, we're helping people like what's your goal? I think when I established what my goal is for our life, what life we wanted, that really put me on a path of like, I've got to keep making these hard decisions and keep taking these risks and keep sacrificing to get there. But what's your goal? All right, cool. This is a strategy that we can implement for you using property as the vehicle to reach your goal. Yep. Right now, okay, what are the properties we need to acquire at each stage of the strategy? Bang, bang, bang. You're starting the properties, right? And then we just help them manage their portfolio over long term. But it's not, our most common client is, I always say, well off or doing well in their career, in their job, and they've got capital they want to deploy to protect.
And they're looking for someone, obviously, to advise them, hold their hand throughout the process and actually execute. Because a lot of people have the means to do something. They sit around for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years and do nothing. And then they realize, I've just cost myself millions of dollars in equity. So if you can come to someone like yourself and execute, like you said, your clients have just done 4 properties in a year.
Oh, they could 6 months, bro.
6 months. Realistically, there's not a great chance they would have done that themselves. Even if they had the means to do it, they wouldn't have had the confidence of where to buy, what to buy, negotiate it, put it all together. Even if that took them, those 4 properties, if it took them 5 years, the outcome that they're going to get from buying them all sooner, like me and you did, as soon as possible, is going to be ridiculous. Because in 5 years' time, they're going to have had a ridiculous amount of growth.
They've got way more income than I've got. They've actually got deposits, not even like just nothing. I started with no deposits. They're starting with genuine deposits, mad serviceability. It's like, mate, this is not a walk apart, but it's like the potential you've got to build a decent property portfolio is really strong. And then, it's just the idea of putting one deal together is fun, I think, for people. To put multiple deals together in quick succession and it being the right price, the right area,
That's overwhelming without help.
To execute. But that's probably the most common client that we work with. We do work with a couple of young Thundercats like yourself in their 20s. But I think the majority of the people that I do attract is the dad, the family man, or the families that are trying to build wealth. And build wealth is such a stupid term, but I don't know how else to say it. Of like, they're just trying to
get ahead, make life easier down the line.
Yes.
Yeah. Most of them don't want to be driving Lambos and going in first class trips overseas and stuff. They just want good house, income down the line. They can retire, spend time with their family, that sort of thing. All choices. Not even, a lot of people don't want to retire early. They just want to not have the stress of having to go to work and work ridiculously hard to make income, to make ends meet.
But that's why I love this game, because the decision that I made back in 2022 to buy that place in Rockhampton was the safety net that I didn't even know I needed to take one of the biggest risks of my life to start up a business in 2025.
Exactly.
What? I made a decision 2.5 years ago that now gave me the confidence
to go into something bigger,
to take the next step. And I think sometimes people can be so regimented with their portfolio of like, nah, I got to do this. And I have missed out on probably 200 grand extra capital growth on that thing. But that's what I believe building a property portfolio is great for. Having options in your life I pull this lever, I've got an option. Without me doing that, I never would have had the option or the choice or the decision to do that would have been
could have went into it, but without the cash there, you would have been a lot more hesitant and more stressed, and it would have been harder. And realistically, there could have been a lot less chance of success, but it's worked out fine, and mate, you're doing well.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, mate, I think that just about wraps us up. If you could give your 20-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
20-year-old self, one bit of advice. I'd probably say, honestly, keep working and ask people that know what you want to do, how they did it. Because I think that me reading that book, Brendan Burchard, led me to my first mentor within property, and that catapulted me into what I'm doing now. And I think there's so much knowledge in people.
Yep.
Right. And so I would just say, keep doing what you're doing, but ask people questions. I feel like in this country, bro, everyone wants to seem like a big dog. Everyone wants to seem like this guru.
They know.
And no one wants to ask any questions of anyone. And it's like,
you ask me, you call me, and you ask me 1,000 questions.
you just call people and ask.
You even ask me questions that I'm like, pretty sure you know the answer, mate. You're just confirming it.
This is like power in numbers, you know?
Yeah. You can learn. You can learn from everyone. I learn from everyone. That's part of this podcast, and get people on. I learn from them.
That's what got me into this whole thing. I used to listen when I was at the water company. You'd go all the way to bloody North Sydney, and I'd punch episodes from Smart Property Investments. I used to listen to Tyrone Shum all the time, a property invest story. Like I used to
listen to every episode of his.
Bang.
Tyrone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just listening to content, and you're like, if they can do it, I think I can do it too. Because you find out, oh, that guy's a freaking sales manager of a water company as well.
Yeah, exactly. He's got 10 properties. Yeah.
So what? And you just, if I could just talk to that guy and find out what he did and what was it like, that shines a light on the path for me to start taking some steps.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of you for doing this. I think there will be so many great stories and people inspired off the back of that, just to show, okay, these are the next few steps. And that's all you need. That starts to build some momentum for you to do what you want in your life.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it, and appreciate you coming on.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Much appreciated.